Extra police presence is put to the test next. How the beach fared this holiday weekend.
Colombian natives tonight casting their ballots, hoping that a new president will somehow bring peace.
And imagine driving along this when the road falls out from underneath you. The news is next.
And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
In the beginning, man created 3 types of game shows. Those that tested strength. Those that tested intelligence. And those that tested strategy. Now, 20,000 years later, man has found a way to combine all 3. Dog Eat Dog. NBC Mondays after Fear Factor. We've come a long way, baby.
This week on The Tonight Show, Jay welcomes Tobey Maguire, Will Smith, Paul McCartney, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne, The Rock, Rachel Griffiths, and Lauren Graham. Plus the music of P. Diddy and Reese. Your local news is next.
The Blue Ribbon panel investigating the Relia Wilson case unveils a plan to fix the system that lost her. A South Florida father is behind bars. Police say he threw his baby from a car and an out-of-control barge destroys a bridge, dumping cars into water. The news starts in 30 seconds.
This is NBC6 News at 11.
Good evening, everyone. Hundreds of thousands of party goers converged on South Beach this Memorial Day weekend.
But unlike last year, it seems that this time keeping the peace has been much easier. Michelle Kaczynski joins us live from Ocean Drive tonight with much more. Michelle?
Absolutely. The beat is still something behind us. But you walk down any of these streets and you're bound to hear people saying they're having a better time than they did last year and that they feel safer. Now, police say even though last night they felt they had to break out their brand new pepper pellet guns, they also feel the city's master plan this year is an undeniable success. Another crazy night on South Beach winds down, or we should say winds up, with more fun than fights, and far more good times than bad memories.
Oh, yeah, it's cracking. It's like no problem, just all easy. Everybody's getting along, so it's cool.
And what did you say it was?
Crack-a-lackin'.
It's crack-a-lackin'.
I really enjoyed it. Had a blast.
Saturday night there was one unfortunate time when police had to send in their field force, the men in black, for a fight that started outside the police department. For the first time ever, they use these new crowd control guns that shoot pellets of pepper spray at one person at a time instead of an entire crowd.
We try to get them to stop fighting, keep the situation from snowballing into something that later on we're not going to have a choice but to call field force in.
Some people thought the riot gear was a bit much for a small fight.
It could have been dealt with in a better way.
Go on, overall, you think the whole weekend was handled okay?
The weekend was handled great. I mean, I have love for the minor police. They ain't bothering me, so, you know, it's all good. I got love for you guys.
What a change from last year. Even coming from the man who last year came down hard on the cops.
It's going beautiful. I mean, it's going better than I expected. You know, police there, and you know, and they're nice, and they're, you know, cordial.
Overall, a great weekend, with maybe some lessons learned. This young lady is turning the tables on all those guys with video cameras.
No problems. Love it. I'll be back.
Yeah, we heard that I'll be back from a lot of people for whom this weekend was their first time. Easy to have a good time out there. Police tell us as of last night they had made 66 arrests as opposed to last year's 106. And they say all incidents this year have been far, far less serious than last year. We're live on South Beach. Michelle Kaczynski, NBC6.
All right, Michelle, thank you. We're going to tell you exactly what to expect outside weather-wise over the rest of the long holiday weekend in just a couple of minutes. Also tonight, police have arrested a man they say threw his own toddler out of his car that was parked. The officers say he got angry. Now, this happened along Davie Boulevard. The one-year-old toddler was treated and then released at the hospital. The father tonight being charged with child abuse.
A portion of Miami International Airport was evacuated today after a gun was reported missing. Airport officials say an air marshal had landed in Miami when he realized he left his gun back on the plane. Passengers on board that aircraft were about to take off when the marshal rushed back in looking for the weapon.
We were on the plane. We were all sitting down on the plane, ready to go, and all of a sudden he comes through, pushed his way past me, and asked the stewardess if they found it.
Both the plane's passengers and the airport concourse were evacuated while officials searched for the weapon. The gun was eventually found and the marshals checked baggage.
Well, the government of Colombia has a new president tonight. He is Alvaro Uribe, and he was leading the election with more than 50% of the vote when his opponent finally conceded tonight. And Uribe promises an all-out war against rebel fighters to eventually bring peace. This is the scene in Weston on Sunday as Colombians living in South Florida came here to cast their ballots. Thousands of Colombian natives now call South Florida home, and they are making their voices heard in the presidential election that will pick the man who will try to find some way to end the almost 40-year war that is ripping Colombia apart. More than 80% of the 35,000 Colombians registered to vote in Florida turned out.
Everybody's very interested in having a new president that can hopefully give us peace in our country.
In Bogota, heavy security awaited those who showed up to vote in the capital. Earlier in the weekend, rebel forces set off one explosion. The outgoing president, Andres Pastrana, was barred by law from running again. He tried to make peace with the rebels trying to overthrow the government, but it didn't work, and he eventually declared war on them. The hardline candidate, Alvaro Uribe, was the clear front-runner. He believes the rebels, known as the FARC, should be exterminated and wants the U.S. to help him do it. He was almost killed for taking this stance, but says something must be done to bring peace and stop the violence that has made Colombia the kidnapping capital of the world. Now, this weekend, there are about 200,000 military police officers out to make sure that the election and the vote counting was not disrupted. We didn't get any reports tonight of violence at the polling places in the major cities.
As the search for Aurelia Wilson continues, the state panel investigating the case of the missing 5-year-old unveiled a plan today to mend the shortcomings of the Department of Children and Families. Alicia Lane has the story.
DCF is underfunded, understaffed, underappreciated, and overworked.
Targeting the shortcomings of the Department of Children and Families, a 4-member Blue Ribbon panel unveiled the first draft of a report aimed at mending the so-called broken-down system of child welfare.
I've been working in the system for over 20 years. There's nothing in these recommendations that couldn't be done. There's none of this stuff that couldn't have been done 10, 15 years ago.
The governor-appointed panel and the plan, inspired by public outrage over the disappearance of Aurelia Wilson. Among those in the audience, DCF Secretary Kathleen Kearney, who's been under constant fire since Aurelia was reported missing 6 weeks ago.
We've learned from every tragedy. That's what we must do if we're to improve.
The panel's recommendations include both long and short-term measures, calling for things like a fully funded program whereby every child has their own guardian ad litem, and better pay for child welfare workers. It also calls for criminal history checks of foster care families, and it focuses on community outreach, whereby the public and the media take a more active role in child welfare.
Media partnerships that need to be established. I actually think NBC6 is starting one this week.
The panel commending NBC6 for its upcoming special segments to feature foster children in need of adoption.
It's that kind of initiative that we need on a more regular basis so that these kids do not linger in foster care, so that they get the community support that they need.
The 26-page draft based on strict deadlines. Deadline Secretary Kearney believes can be met.
We're going to do everything that we can. It's my intent to report back to the panel and to the members of this community on what we can and what we cannot do.
I personally think that Secretary Kearney should resign.
State Representative Frederica Wilson argues Kearney is ill-equipped to commit to such responsibility.
I think she is in over her head, and I don't think that she even realizes that she's in over her head. There would be no way that I would stand up and say that I was going to complete all of that by September 1.
On Tuesday morning, an amended version of this report will go to Governor Jeb Bush for his review. That being said, the members of the Blue Ribbon Committee say they want permission to reconvene in September to assess if and to what extent their recommended measures are being put into place. In downtown Miami, Alicia Lane, NBC6.
Tragic day today in Oklahoma when a bridge there collapses.
Coming up, find out what caused it to give way, sending vehicles plunging into the water.
And folks, take a peek at this. I'm just looking at the First Alert Doppler 6 radar. Look at that system just off the coast of Key Largo. The rains are coming, folks. They're coming into our area. We've all got a chance to get a little wet. I'll tell you all about it in my forecast coming up.
Hurricane season is almost here. It's time to get prepared. NBC6 meteorologist Roland Stedham and the Storm Watch weather team will show you what you need to do before, during, and after a storm. Plus, you'll learn about life-saving technology only NBC6 has, and get an inside look at how a hurricane forms and grows. For everything you need to know to protect yourself and your family, watch Storm Watch 2002, Thursday at 7. Brought to you by these Storm Watch sponsors.
May is Truck Month at World Ford. For the first time ever, 2002 four-door Explorers are just $299 a month. Yes, Explorer four-door with air, CD, power windows, and locks. $299 a month, only at World Ford, Kendall and Pepper Pines.
We do things our own way in South Florida. How we live, what we do, what we drive. A truck like this, Dodge Ram Quad Cab. The only full-size pickup with 4 real doors and a full-size bed. Accented by the biggest brakes and wheels in its class. You'll find it down the road at Truckville. Known in these parts as your South Florida Dodge dealer. Grab Dodge's 7/100 powertrain pledge plus a $1,000 cash allowance. Ford, GM, and Toyota don't match this.
Your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. Only World Ford has new Explorer four-doors for just $299 a month. O2 Explorer four-doors, only 20% down, only 36 months, and only $299 a month. Only at World Ford, Kendall and Pepper Pines.
I have no idea what caused these stains.
Instead of whiter and brighter,
The sock had little dark spots on it.
she got dull and dingy.
I'm not going through your laundry. I have enough trouble going through my laundry.
On an all-new People's Court.
Monday at 3 on NBC6. Sargento's exclusive slide right bag helps keep our cheese tasting great because it's so easy to close.
So easy to close?
Thank you.
Sargento Slide Right Bag. It just got easier to just say cheese.
This Memorial Day season, find out what makes the 2002 Nissan Sentra the envy of all compact sedans. European-inspired styling. Named a best bet in the Ultimate Car Book. Hey, if you were a compact sedan, you'd be jealous too, because Sentra's anything but compact. This Memorial Day season, get low 0.9% APR financing on the exceptional uncompact Nissan Sentra. See your Dade Broward Nissan dealer today. Offer ends May 31st. Nissan. Driven.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by AT&T and Long Distance. Lets you long distance be unlimited.
Rescue attempts are still underway in Oklahoma after about a dozen cars were forced into the Arkansas River. A barge knocked out a 500-foot section of a bridge in eastern Oklahoma this morning.
5 survivors were eventually pulled from the water. They are being treated. Tonight, officials expect to find the bodies of several others, though, in those vehicles. The investigators say the captain of the barge may have blacked out just before this collision. Well, a lot of people planning on going to the beach tomorrow.
Yeah, Lonnie, how's it going to be? We're going to see some rain tomorrow?
You know, may not be the best beach day tomorrow, but man, what a beach day we had today. Take a look at this, folks. This is from our La Concha cam down in Key West. Nary, a word not used enough. Nary a cloud in the sky. Look at that flag. They're just whipping around. Breezes were rough out there today. They're going to be blowing tomorrow, but from a different direction. I'm going to tell you all of that in just a second. But first, let's start off with our high temperature today. We got up to 83 degrees. Our low temperature was 74 degrees. Basically, we're pretty much in line with where we should be this time of year, but we didn't break either of the two records that will stay in the record book for another year, that is. Your current temperatures outside right now, we're basically into the upper 70s through all of South Florida. Hot spot is Key West at 81, and the chilly spot, Jacksonville, coming in at 70 degrees. Let's show you now first alert live Doppler 6 radar because the rains are a-coming. This is all associated with that system down in the Caribbean. If you take a peek, we've got a little system just sort of directly off of our coast, coming directly heading due west from easterly breezes. There's also a system off of Key Largo that's going to actually be dropping some rain on them probably within the next half hour or so. All right, coming back to home here, this is what we've got out there. The big system in the Caribbean, which had been south of Cuba yesterday, has headed to its north. You can see it's now centered on top of the Bahamas. Bimini is getting the biggest rainfall right now out of it, and there's a lot of rainfall in this system. The vapor loop will show you all the moisture in the upper levels, and the red is dry, but you can see there's the green, and we are going to be getting some rain out of the system. At least that's what it looks like right now. So the reason we're expecting to have a pretty sort of wet day tomorrow is the high pressure that's been on top of us is going to be just sort of dissipating. In comes that low, and the leading storms that are associated with that low will be bringing us some showers. So for tonight, mostly cloudy with increasing showers, 74 degrees. Let's tell you about your Labor Day, folks. Mostly cloudy with a 40% chance for a shower. Take an umbrella. It will be warm.
First Alert Doppler 6 is brought to you exclusively by the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida.
And that wraps up our news tonight. We thank you so much for watching. The big dog, Joe Rose, is on deck next with Sunday Sports Final.
And be sure to join us right here on NBC6 for Today in South Florida, tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. And continue, of course, to enjoy the long holiday weekend. Good night.
Good night.